Hey everybody, welcome back to Football Talk with Vinny. In today's video, we're going to be going over the Cleveland Browns. So with the Cleveland Browns, they obviously finally made the playoffs for the first time in over a decade. And obviously with their roster, they have a very young, talented team. So they obviously have hopes of not only making the playoffs next year, but obviously maybe even winning the Super Bowl. So let's actually get into the offseason for them. So in terms of free agents that they lost Olivier Vernon, the pass rusher. They lost a safety in Andrew Sendejo. And then they lost a linebacker, B.J. Goodson. So they also lost Carl Joseph and then Terrence Mitchell. And then lastly, they did lose Sheldon Richardson as well. So you lost, really two corners and a couple of guys on that front seven on the defense and also a linebacker. So a lot of their losses were on the defensive side. So you did have to, hopefully either through the draft and free agency, make up for that. In terms of re-signings, the only thing that I really saw that was significant was Cody Parkey. So you brought back a kicker. But in terms of free agency, they had some money to spend, and they definitely spent a little bit of it. So they ended up getting Jadeveon Clowney, they got Malik Jackson, and then a couple of bigger signings was they got Troy Hill, the Rams corner, and John Johnson, the Rams safety. So we talked about that last video. So I think in losing the safety, they replaced him with a better safety, and they obviously upgraded at cornerback by getting Troy Hill. So I think if you look at the free agency, they definitely did make up for the loss of the players they lost in free agency, right? They got a pass rusher, a corner, a safety, right? So they were able to bolster the defense in which you would previously thought through free agency, before free agency started, they had lost a bunch of dudes and they were going to be weaker on that side of the ball. Now with getting into the draft with their first pick at pick number 26, they actually took a cornerback in Greg Newsome II. At pick 52, the linebacker, the very good coverage linebacker, fell to them at 52 in Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I actually don't even need to spell that because I know that one is pronounced right. I'll spell it anyways, but I know I'm pronouncing that right. At pick 91, they were able to get a wide receiver in Anthony Schwartz. And then quickly, let me go over the rest. At pick 110, they took a left tackle in James Hudson. At pick 132, they took a defensive tackle in Tommy Togia. I'm probably pronouncing that one wrong. Pick 153, they took a linebacker in Tony Fields. Pick 169, they did address the safety position with Richard LeCounte. And pick 212, and then pick 211, they took a running back in Demetric Felton. So quickly, you want to focus in, for me at least, I focus in on those top 100 picks. So you took a cornerback, a coverage linebacker, and a wide receiver. So again, I really like that because again, you lost some players on the defensive side. You not only used free agency, but you also used your first two picks in the draft to address some of the concerns on the defensive side of the ball. So I think with the offense, you're already kind of set in place with your offense. You already have a lot of young players at almost every position. And on defense, they got a little bit better, I think, through the additions they made in free agency and the draft. Even though they lost some guys, I felt like with the guys they replaced them with, they should have a better defense. Now quickly, obviously, I want to go over the money. Again, if you look at it, they still have $19 million to spend. So one would say, hey, why didn't they spend more? But when you look at next year's salary cap, they have $7.4 million. So what happens is a lot of those younger players, I think even, I want to say Myles Garrett's contract doesn't kick in until next year. So that's why the cap space is so much money this year, but next year they actually don't have as much. And I think you see that with some teams as well, where it looks like they have more cap space this year, but when you really look, kind of behind the curtain and you see, next year they're actually not in a good cap situation. That's why they're not spending as much money this year. So predictions for the Cleveland Browns season, I obviously have them as a Super Bowl contender. I think they are definitely one of the 5 best teams in the AFC. Again, in terms of wins, ironically, we talked about it literally last video with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have a very tough division, so I wouldn't really be shocked if the Ravens won the division. I don't think it means just because they don't win the division that they didn't have a successful season. So I can see Cleveland winning anywhere from 9 to 11 games, maybe even 12 or 13, depending on how they do inside the division. They do have a lot of tough divisional games, because even Cincinnati, I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk game. But that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like it, make sure to leave a like on it and also subscribe. But that's it for the video. Look forward to the next one. Bye.